Now at 6, shocking new video shows the moments a man drove into a paint store, but it's what happened after that's even more shocking. We'll explain coming up.
And local blueberry farmers say the recent hot weather is making it harder to keep their crops alive. The lengths they're going to keep their berries from drying out. Plus,
to the spot, Mora! Yes!
The Timbers back at Providence Park for the first time in weeks. How they fared against FC Dallas and why Portland fans had a less than warm welcome for one of the Dallas players coming up is your news at sunrise. Starts right now.
good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Thursday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchick. We want to start this hour of sunrise off with some crazy video sent to us from a viewer named Rich in Northeast Salem here. Take a look.
Oh, that's fake. Photoshop. Come on, Rich.
That's AI. No, that's
incredible.
Incredibly timed video. Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis are standing by with a look at the weather and traffic. Yeah, you're asking what time. It was definitely like around 9 o'clock. I was up too late last night, Rob.
You should have been in bed.
I know. But yeah, it was definitely around 9 o'clock. I remember lightning strikes around my place.
My wife felt the need to wake me up. I don't know what time it was to tell me it was hailing outside. I was like,
great
kid!
kid!
That kind of makes sense. It's kind of like your wheelhouse.
We started off yesterday at this time, actually, 6 o'clock, talking about this kind of spotty storm chance. There was a chance of storms later today inland. We were seeing some lightning along the coast. And then by mid-morning, it was looking more likely that we would, in fact, see significant lightning coming up through the valley. And I know Chris, going into the noon hour yesterday, kind of flipped the script on that becoming a bigger story of the day, really, than what the heat was. So we now know that Salem picked up 23/100 of an inch of rain, which was a record for the date at McNary Field. PDX picked up 16/100, so any rain this time of the year is great news. Here's what we have on the warning map today. We're all dry on the west side, and all watches warnings for our local area have been dropped. But we do have air quality alerts still for central and eastern areas, and a red flag warning out in Baker City and John Day for potential lightning later today. Yes, still unhealthy air, Deschutes County, and then largely off to the east. We have good air quality over Portland this morning in most reporting sites anyway. 64 is the number. We still look for today to be morning cloudiness and then getting into some afternoon sun. 73 degrees at noon. And how about a nice, pleasant 83? Here is Chris.
That's going to feel a whole lot better. All right, some good news here. After some earlier trouble on I-5 this morning, we had a crash that had 2 lanes of I-5 blocked just south of SR 500. That cleared within the last 10 minutes, and the backup, and it was substantial, has also flushed out. So that's good news. We're back to pretty close to a speed limit clip here from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. The rest of the drive times, again, as you would expect at this hour of a Thursday morning commute. No big deal out there just yet. This is a big deal, though. Tomorrow night and throughout the weekend, the Morrison Bridge will be closed to all motorized vehicles as the county continues its strengthening work. The Morrison Bridge closes at 9 o'clock on Friday through 5 a.m. Tuesday. Plan your workarounds now. Perhaps the Fremont Bridge, of course, that's a busy connector from downtown to I-5, and that will likely create some delays on I-5 as well during the closures. So you've been warned.
We'll keep an eye on that, Chris. Thank you. A warehouse had to be evacuated last night as Portland Fire and Rescue worked to put out a fire on the roof. You can see in the images here, it happened at Graphic Packaging in the Kenton neighborhood off Marine Drive. When crews got there, they found one of the fire hydrants nearby was out of service. They were able to set up another source for water, and the fire was quickly put out. No employees or firefighters were hurt.
The Seattle Fire Department says it wants to put drones on top of fire stations so they can get eyes on emergencies before crews arrive. They say the drones would help locate people in distress in life or death situations, but it is costly. Each drone would cost $60,000. Seattle Fire says the drones won't record any video or release it to the public. It could only be watched live by authorized fire officials. Well, a grand jury ruled the officers who shot a 50-year-old man while trying to arrest him were justified in doing so. On June 17th, police went to Daniel Noonan's home off Siletz Highway to arrest him after he allegedly destroyed a fruit stand and yelled racial slurs at the woman running it. This video is from that incident. Police say when they asked his name, Noonan opened fire, prompting 2 officers to shoot back. He was later found with a gunshot wound and gun in each hand. The medical examiner says he died from a gunshot wound to the head, which could have been self-inflicted. A grand jury ruled the officer's use of deadly force was lawful and justified.
Portland police have arrested a man they say broke into a home yesterday and sexually assaulted a teenager. Police say 26-year-old Anthony Alfred assaulted the 17-year-old while she was sleeping in a home along Southeast 92nd. Authorities say a family member stopped him, chased him out, and called 911. Alfred is charged with first-degree sexual abuse and attempted rape. And a reminder that if you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, help is always available. You can contact that number on your screen. It's 800-656-4673 to reach the National Sexual Assault Hotline to receive support.
All right, we are now hearing from a Portland rideshare driver who was carjacked by the same teenagers. Police went on a wild crime spree across the city. Before a series of gas station robberies, Portland police say a group of teen boys from Seattle carjacked this man. Cody Sanford said that he had been driving people around for a couple of months and up until last week never had problems. Before he could get to the end of the block on the most recent ride, one of the passengers pulled out a gun and chased him when he tried to run.
Pointed at my head and told me, "Give you everything you got." I ended up tripping a couple blocks down this way, and they grabbed my phone, and then they were off with the car.
Cody did get his car back after the teens were arrested and charged.
A jury has found Nike liable in a sex discrimination lawsuit brought by a former employee. After a 6-day federal trial, jurors ruled in favor of Heather Hender on all counts, finding Nike willfully violated the Federal Equal Pay Act. The jury awarded Hender more than $7.5 million in damages, plus nearly $20,000 in back pay. We spoke to Hender and her attorney about the outcome.
I was weeping when they were reading their verdict. There is hope out there, even when it seems it's rather bleak. There's hope out there, and I believe tides are changing.
For 8 years, Nike had a choice here. They could fix the problem or they could fight the person. And we hope that this message from the jury will encourage Nike to stop fighting their employees and start fixing their culture.
In a statement, Nike says it's disappointed by the verdict and disagrees with the conclusions. The company says it's evaluating its next steps and takes workplace issues seriously, investigates them thoroughly, and addresses them where appropriate.
In Clark County, a pilot is going to be okay after crashing into a Yale Lake yesterday morning. The sheriff's office says a small airplane had a mechanical failure before going down. The 76-year-old pilot was the only person on board. He was able to get out of the plane before it sank. He's being treated for some minor injuries, and the Federal Aviation Administration has been notified. The
owner of the Sheridan Fruit Company, Vince Torchia, has died at 90 years old. The company made the announcement of Torchia's death on Instagram yesterday, saying in part, quote, "Vince's passion for people, hard work, and quality was at the heart of everything he did. He was always willing to go the extra mile for customers and employees, and his kindness, leadership, and dedication touched countless lives." Back in February, the company had to close its doors after a century of business. At the beginning of the year, company president Ann Barwick told KGW that COVID majorly hurt Sheridan's wholesale business. They'd also seen a drop in customers coming into their retail store. Well, Oregon is one of the country's top blueberry producing states, harvesting millions of pounds last year. And right now is peak U-pick season, with harvest continuing throughout the summer. But after a back-to-back days of near 100-degree heat, some local farmers say keeping those berries healthy is taking more time and more money. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us now with those details. Corey.
Yeah, good morning, Matthew. China, Oregon produced roughly 172 million pounds of blueberries last year. That's according to the Oregon Blueberry Commission. And farms across the state range from large-scale operations that export fruit across the world to smaller farms that offer U-pick. Now, in a recent report, the commission says growers expect another strong year for harvest, reinforcing blueberries as one of Oregon's top 10 crops. But less rainfall this year, combined with above average temps in May and June, has changed the way some smaller farms are operating. That includes Bonnie Slope Blueberries in Northwest Portland, which has welcomed U-pick customers for more than 55 years. Russell, who owns the farm, says they rely on 50,000-gallon pond that irrigates the crop, For years, that water typically lasted until the end of July, but he says in the last couple of years, it's been running out closer to July 1st, forcing the farm to buy more city water. Not only that, but this week's hot weather meant he needed to use even more of that water to protect the blueberries.
I'll be out here this afternoon putting a little irrigation to the bushes, keeping some humidity around the bushes, keeping berries from desiccating or drying out. So that's extra work for me, keeping the watering going.
In a good year, Russell tells me those bushes produce about 6,000 pounds of blueberries every single year, and harvest season runs through the end of September. Matthew, China.
Corey Johnson reporting live this morning. Thank you, Corey. Well, there are now over 100 fires burning throughout Oregon right now as crews continue to work through challenging conditions. This is a look from one of Oregon Hazard Lab's wildfire camera. Can't see a whole lot there. This is a live look at the Aqua Butte fire. You can see all the ash in the air there while yesterday's rain calmed things down. Crews still battled with the wind that caused crews to almost close down part of Highway 20 as the fire traveled that way. That fire near Sisters is only about 3% contained at more than 20,000 acres. Farther north, the Hay Creek complex is now 76% contained. The main focus for crews is managing the newly formed Porcupine Ridge fire because of how hot it was. Firefighters were required to take safety breaks to avoid dehydration. And a little bit south of that are these scenes from the Roe Creek complex fire. It's still the largest fire burning in Oregon at about 150,000 acres. Those fires have closed down part of Highway 26 as activity picked back up again yesterday. Crews have that about 24% contained.
And before we get to Rod, we want to share this incredible photo sent in by viewer Ashley showing a lightning strike over Woodburn yesterday.
And when there's crazy weather happening outside, we want to see what it looks like where you live. Just text us photos and videos to the number there on your screen, 503-226-5088. Be sure to tell us your name and where the photos or video is taken. And remember, never put yourself in harm's way just for a picture.
All right, Rod. So how much lightning did we see in the area yesterday?
Oh, boy. Matthew,
listen, hey.
Tell me you're going to ask
whoa,
me
whoa, 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 whoa. Just for the record, that was a scripted question. I
will.
I assumed that was...
I promise next half hour we will have a number for you, or at least a range.
That was disgusting.
Does that sound good? Yeah. I haven't looked at that yet today, but I will, and we'll have that data for you the best I can next half hour. To me, the exciting part was the rain. One of the bigger totals, Buxton, which is out in Washington County, 0.4 of an inch of rain. McNary Field in Salem picked up a record for the date at 23/100ths, and PDX picked up 16/100ths of an inch. July, if you don't know, is typically our driest climate month of the year. We only average about 1/2 of an inch, and there have been multiple Julys where we only picked up a trace for the entire 31-day period. So the fact that we picked up some rain, good news with all the lightning that blew through the area. Here's a look up at Timberline. We are completely dry now, and we will be dry today except for some developing thunderstorms out close to the Idaho border. Timberline, let's see here. Temperature is, well, still pretty mild, or warm actually. 64 is the number, 6,000 feet. You can see the rising sun. We kind of have broken cloudiness over the city this morning, and we're still fairly warm as well. 64, pretty much matching Timberline. 62 up in Kelso. The Dalles at 71 degrees. Baker City 58, Burns 54. We have cloudiness at the coast this morning. Astoria reporting 60 degrees. Remember yesterday during sunrise, it was the coast that kicked off the lightning show with all those strikes that were developing down around Lincoln County, around the Newport area. Here we are today. Again, the only storm chances out east, far east. We've got dry weather in central Oregon, 90 still, air quality alert central and eastern parts of our state, and then low to mid 80s up and down the Willamette Valley. I've got Portland at 83 today and tomorrow, clouds to sun. Shower chances on Saturday, the best chance of rain could stay at the coast, but it will be a cooler day with a lot of cloud cover. I have us in the 70s, and I show no hot weather all the way into the mid part of next week. Now I'm going to get to work on the lightning count, and here I go.
Thank you so much, Rod. Lightning Rod. The KGW school supply drive is almost here, and we need your help getting students ready for the upcoming school year. One way you can help is by going online to kgw.com/school to sign up your business or organization. Then we'll send you an official KGW school supply drive kit to help collect what kids need the most in the classroom. So join us and help send thousands of local families, kids, and teachers back to school prepared.